Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the laundry room. This is Pillar to Post, and I am your host, Pete Wall. Today we've got a lot of news, some sad news, some potentially great news, and some news that might upset some viewers, especially Ring of Honor's viewers and fans. So I was trying to figure out how to do this show, and I was supposed to have it recorded about 2 hours ago. Instead, I ended up having to run some errands and pick up some supper for me and the wife. So, figured, have a little dinner with the wife before I get rolling with this recording. Is there ever going to be any live streams with Pillar to Post? Yes, there will be. I'm still working out how to use OBS and how to do live stream and everything. I'm very new with this stuff. I was a blog talk radio commentator, and now I am doing this in front of a camera and using equipment I've never used before. Before it was just, calling into blog talk, you have your mic and you're done. Now it's doing the live streaming and figuring all these things with OBS, how to add audio and videos to these, and I haven't done that yet. I haven't actually had the time to sit down and watch any tutorials or anything like that. So this weekend, that is my intention. I plan on having an intro for the show. I plan on building it up a little bit more and trying to be a little bit more creative. Now, I've been sick for the last couple of weeks, and it has gotten worse and worse. Today I'm feeling a little bit better. The chest cold is still there. I'm still achy from it and hacking a lot. So I'm hoping I have a little bit more control over that with this show than I did with SmackDown and Raw. But content I have. Once I figure out how to work OBS properly and how to do the live stream as well as capturing gaming, I plan on doing some games on here. I plan on doing some games I've never even touched before, that I've always wanted to, but I've never really tried. Call of Duty is for one. I've played it a little bit here and there with my son, but I've never really let myself get into it. The new Resident Evil that just came out, Resident Evil 7, that one looked fucking awesome. I want to do that. So there's a lot of stuff I want to do with this show. We're getting into the warmer weather now, and I'm going to be doing a show about my son's 68 Dodge Polara. We are customizing it. We are fixing it. We've come a long way where it was. So what we were planning on doing was doing a show doing the interior customization, but we've decided to go for the exterior work and get it ready for safety check and my son's birthday, which is on April 19th. I'm hoping to have it ready for the road come April. So I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed here. But I doubt. I think it'll probably be ending up probably May or something. But those are my hopes. So today, what is the show about? Well, we're going to start with the tragic news first. I find it tragic because I'm a very big fan of Jim Ross's, and with the loss of his wife, it is something that the entire wrestling community is kind of feeling. And I'm not a religious man, but I will say this: my best wishes go out to him for the loss of his wife. I was in her situation in 1998. I was walking though, but I walked away from it, and I am very sorry to hear that she did pass. And we will go into all of that and also read his blog that he posted It's a tragedy. It is. Losing anyone, doesn't matter who you are. I lost my father 4 years ago to prostate cancer, and I still feel it. I still look back and I wish I could have done a little bit more to repair the damaged relationship we had. But I'm happy that me and him fixed most of it, and he passed with both of us on good terms. So let's get into the JR story first, and hopefully we can get a little bit better, in a better mood going into the show. I know it's I didn't want to end the show on a sad note. I think this is newsworthy enough to be the top article to cover on my show, and then we'll go from there. We've got a lot of news to go over, and I'm hoping everyone enjoys it. But before we do that, you want to get a hold of me for t-shirt designs, my book, or just to become a friend of mine. You can find me on Facebook, and quick way to do that is to just do a search for Pete G. Wall. You can follow me on Twitter at Mordecai Fallon, MordecaiFallon. A lot of people want to spell Mordecai differently. You can also reach me via my email, which is steeldragon1234@hotmail.com. And for any inquiries about purchasing my novel, Dragon's Kin by Pete Wall, you can find my book on Amazon or CreateSpace. Or if you feel like ordering from me to get a signed copy, it only comes in paperback and Kindle. The paperback looks great, and I will sign it if you order through me, and it is $20 plus shipping, because depending on where you're living, it does get expensive, and I cannot cover it all. I am just breaking ground with my writing, and it has been received well with the fans that have purchased it. Nothing but good compliments about it. Reviews are awesome. And as well as t-shirts, you can contact me via email or Facebook or even Twitter if you feel like it. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're comfortable using. I've got tons of designs out. I want to cover a design for this show and make this show grow a bit. But tragedy struck 2 nights ago. And yes, that is a train having to go through my backyard while I'm doing this. JR's wife, Jan, passed away after her accident. And this, I believe, she passed away last night. So 2 days before, Jim Ross tweeted that his wife, Jan, was in a serious accident after being struck by a vehicle while riding her Vespa. Last night we learned that she was in critical condition, as well as he gave us all the tragic news via Twitter that his wife has passed away. He also tweeted, "A personal thanks to everyone. My angel needs a miracle and your prayers." Actually, this was his blog that he wrote. "Thanks for stopping by our site. This has been a week that has changed my life forever." So he goes into the day of the accident. Monday night at approximately 9:30 p.m. while I was recording the Ross Report, about 30 miles from our home, my wife Jan was riding her Vespa home from the gym, when then was struck from behind by an automobile driven by a 17-year-old young man. Jan suffered a catastrophic brain injury, including multiple skull fractures. My little angel was unfortunately not wearing a helmet, which arguably would have prevented the extreme nature of her injuries. I will fully admit that there has been no experience in my life that could have prepared me for this life-changing week. To see one's life partner and love of one's life being kept alive via life support equipment is tragically heartbreaking. My parents seen me this way, and they told me how hard it was on them. My dad almost had a heart attack. He was made to occupy a bed and calm down when he seen me like this. So I know firsthand experience what family goes through when they see a loved one in this situation. He goes on to say, Jan and I started seeing each other in my WCW days, and she remained steadfast at my side during my 21-year WWE run, of which she dearly loved and always felt like we were a member of family there, no matter the various challenges that confronted us along the way, including my 3 bouts with Bell's palsy. She never wavered. Jan and I had memorable success together when I was managing WWE's talent relations department. We were a team in WWE. He was a coach, and Jan was the best coach's wife ever. She loved the talents and their spouses, invited them into their home, cooked for them, and even did some of their laundry that they would bring over. Some of the Attitude Era's biggest stars were made to feel welcome in their home over the years, thanks to his wife. She helped him battle through multiple bouts of depression as a result of the multiple Bell's palsy attacks. His dependence on Ambien and nursed me to back to health after serious colon surgery that threatened his life, and she never complained one time. He goes on to say, this woman loves him more than he'll ever deserve, and simply knowing her has enriched his life to levels that I can never repay. I feel the same about my wife. My wife has had to see me go through a lot of bullshit because of my accident. She met me about 2 years afterwards, and that was probably... I've always wondered what she's seen in me. How she could connect with someone like me. She had a similar upbringing. She didn't have the best of homes. But to see something worthy in me, I was still in my ups and downs. I had bouts of drug abuse, alcohol abuse. She was 90 pounds when I met her. I was 300. No, when we first met, I was 250. And she was helping me out of bed so I could get to the bathroom, so I could get out of bed in the morning with her. And she kept me from doing a lot of harm to myself. I know what Jim Ross is talking about. The woman in my life sounds a lot like his. A rock. A rock where a rock was needed. Someone that didn't withhold love, but was constantly there to give it and help in any way she could. Losing someone like that, I don't know. I could never imagine losing my wife. So his blog is kind of hitting me right here. So I'm hoping I can hold shit together. He goes on to say, we hope the swelling of Jan's brain will subside soon, as it must for her to survive. It's that simple. Nonetheless, my little Italian angel, who loves her Steelers and all things Pittsburgh, is fighting for all she's worth to save her life. Goes on to say, my wife would be so moved to know how many of you are praying for her. This update has been written through many tears and shaky hands, but please know that your support and love for Jan and me is both comforting and appreciated. God bless you all, JR. Man has a way with words. You know, it just right there. Like I said, you know, I can't imagine what he's going through. If I were to lose the woman that's been there for me every step of the way, I'd probably do something very bad to myself, and I don't want to go there. Kind of hits you, doesn't it? You know, something like that happening. And I've never met Jim Ross. I've never had that honor. I sat very close to him at one of the Raw events way back in the day when the Attitude Era was still around. But that was the closest I've ever been to him. But I've always been a huge fan. There's never going to be a man that replaces JR in the wrestling business. And there's probably never going to be a woman that can replace his loss. Just, it's terrible news. So, we're going to go in from there to a discussion or an article that might upset a lot of Ring of Honor fans, a lot of Ring of Honor viewers. And if you look at the landscape of WWE, you can very clearly see why this article has come to light. You look at a lot of the talent in NXT and some of the newcomers that have been brought up. They are a lot of former Ring of Honor stars in WWE at the moment. So let's break this article down to kind of get out of that first article, that emotional message that Jim Ross sent out to all of us, the fans, and let's break into the discussion of WWE rumored to buy Ring of Honor from Sinclair Broadcasting. Excuse me. Pro Wrestling Sheet reports their sources have informed them WWE is in discussions with Sinclair Broadcasting Group, parent company of Ring of Honor, or ROH for those of you that like to use the anagram, about purchasing the promotion, from which they signed stars like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and many others. Multiple people tell Ryan Satin that two companies have been talking since January. Progress has been slow, but the goal is apparently a total buyout, including airing the weekly Ring of Honor TV program on WWE Network. The report specifies there's no word on if all wrestler contracts would carry over or what the Ring of Honor roster might look like after a possible deal is struck. It also clarifies there's no deal in place. These are only negotiations and they still could fall through. And we all know actually last year, WWE was very steadfast in wanting to buy out TNA. When Dixie Carter was still running it, and there was a dispute with 9 Inch Nails guy. My mind's slipping right now over that. But that fell through real quick, and in the end, WWE just washed their hands of it because it was just a huge debacle. The article goes on, obviously this isn't something which will happen imminently, but just that these talks are occurring raises a ton of questions, including ones about the future of NXT and the agreements WWE's had in the past with Evolve, or their most recent ones with United Kingdom promotions like Progress, and ICW. You know, I'm looking at this, and it's been a goal of Triple H's, and this is Triple H's prerogative. This is his goal. He wants to take over all these independent companies, make WWE that much bigger. But what is going to happen? Look what happened when ECW was bought out and WCW. Look what's come out of that. We lost the Attitude Era. You know, that would have happened regardless. But we lost WWE's only competition. Competition helps companies grow. Without that competition, they begin to become stale and stagnant. And in my eyes, that is what's happened with WWE over the years. Yes, we get moments and spurts of what we used to watch. But it went from capturing the people's imagination to pushing products and commercials and sponsors, and it is a never-ending tale of bullshit on our TV lately and for the last few years. You get uncreative content from them now. Their creative teams mean nothing. Their titles mean nothing anymore. There's no balance on either program, SmackDown or Raw. You have a total of 3 matches in 2 hours or 4 in 3 hours. And it's just, there's no competitive urge to make the shows better. They have no one to fight them anymore. You know, everyone back in the day was hoping TNA was going to be that company. No. It was always something that had potential but never reached their potential. They floundered, and now they are sinking rapidly. And they've been sinking for quite some time. And look at a lot of their talent is now in WWE. They're good talent. It's going to be to the point where there's not going to be much of an independent wrestling community. Everyone says, oh, the independent wrestling is alive and strong. Yes, but if they try and build up, they're eventually just going to get eaten up and swallowed by WWE. So are we ever going to get a company that can rival and compete with WWE and make WWE's product better again? No, not for a very, very long time. It is going to take a fucking miracle for any show, any wrestling company to break out and challenge a company like Vince McMahon's WWE. Unless it is another multi-billionaire that can just push the money behind the company and make it something to rival WWE. Who knows? But it will take many, many years. Moving on. Aleister Black's debut set for NXT TakeOver Orlando. Early on during the March 22nd episode of NXT, we were teased and treated to our Fade to Black teaser video. This is the 3rd straight week of hype for a newcomer most had identified as the former Tommy End, who has already started working on the house show circuit for the brand as Aleister Black. Before the episode was over, WWE confirmed the Dutch veteran of such promotions as Progress and Evolve as the character in the videos, and announced his television debut for TakeOver Orlando on April 1st, the night before WrestleMania 33. Black will face Andrade Cien Almas in what has the potential to be a hell of a match. If a bit of curious booking, new performers on NXT typically win their debut, and Almas has been on a winning streak as he finally wins fans over with his heel work. So it's an intriguing matchup for a variety of reasons, and becomes the first non-title match on the card for next Saturday. And these are the matches lined up already for TakeOver Orlando. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bobby Roode for the NXT title. Asuka versus Ember Moon for the Women's Championship. The Revival versus Authors of Pain versus DIY in an elimination triple threat for the NXT tag titles. Andrade Cien Almas versus Aleister Black. That is what NXT TakeOver is looking at for this coming April 1st. It looks like a good show. I am going to have to catch it. Honestly, I have not watched any NXT yet. I've been wanting to. I have to find other means to do so because my internet provider does not carry WWE Network. So I have to figure out other ways to do that. So if you have any internet sites that do carry it, please put that info in the comments below, and I will definitely look into it because I do want to cover NXT. I don't want to have to watch it on like clips and matches on YouTube because it's a very slow process, and you never know if you're going to catch it in the way it was produced for television. TNA adds the trademark symbol to all broken Matt Hardy titles on YouTube, prompting another Rebby tweet storm. The issues between the Hardys and TNA continue, and I'm going to pause there quickly to take a drink. The issues between the Hardys and TNA continue. The Hardy brothers and TNA have been embroiled in a legal battle over the rights of the broken character. In fact, when Matt and Jeff were set to defend their Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships on the 15th anniversary pay-per-view that Ring of Honor threw, Impact sent cease and desists to both Ring of Honor and cable companies carrying the pay-per-view because they were using the broken gimmick. In their successful title defense, the Hardys toned down certain aspects of the gimmick, with the announcers never using the terms broken or Brother Nero, but Matt still acting typical broken Matt crazy. Word is that TNA doesn't want them to stop using the gimmick, but wants a cut of the proceeds. The argument is that the gimmick was created while Matt was working in TNA, while the Hardys claim that this was all their idea, created on their own, and much of the work was put in by them. To add more fuel to the fire, it was noticed by fans on Twitter that TNA has been putting the trademark symbol on everything concerning the gimmick on their YouTube. Here is the Impact YouTube with the broken search. I don't know why I grabbed that. This was brought to the attention of Rebby Hardy by a fan on Twitter, prompting another Twitter rant. And we all know Rebby Hardy is really good with her rants. The woman is kick-ass. She stands behind her man and her brother-in-law. Fucking hats off to her. She goes, "Nice try, except that is my trademark. Documented as filed long before you dumb stooges tried to play yourselves. Slow clap." She goes on to say, "Where's the trademark after the names of the characters y'all actually created? Fucking scum of the earth, man." At Ed Nordholm. At Real Jeff Jarrett. The last part is of note because there was just a report earlier today that the Hardys have been offered WWE contracts, though the sides may not yet be in agreement about how full-time the brothers would be in WWE. Matt, who is usually a bit more quiet on this issue, or at least more veiled than his wife, had words for Jeff Jarrett tonight. He quoted a tweet Jarrett sent the other week, and tonight he was less broken and more to the point. Blood is bad here, folks, and it doesn't look to be going away anytime soon. Stay tuned, as there will surely be more drama coming. And with the Hardys and TNA, or Impact as they want to be called, there is going to be tons of drama coming. Expect it. Rebby Hardy is not going to hold her tongue for TNA's bullshit. I don't blame her. I wouldn't either. TNA has shown their true colors, especially with the new management they have. And I'm pretty sure, what's her face that owned it earlier? Fuck, I'm bad with her name. She was shit to begin with, but she would have done the same thing. More news about NXT. We have Ruby Riott, or also known in the independent circuit as Heidi Lovelace, debuts on NXT by taking out Nikki Cross. It was pretty exciting when independent wrestling standout Heidi Lovelace signed with WWE. Then it was awesome when she got a cool name in Ruby Riott, even if it was a corporate trademark. So how great is it that she's now on television? Ms. Riott debuted on the March 22nd episode of NXT, running into aid Ty Dillinger against an attack by Sanity's Nikki Cross. The crowd at University of Central Florida knew the chant Ruby due to her having worked a dark match earlier in the tapings. But in kayfabe, Tom Phillips, Nigel McGuinness, Percy Watson, and WWE's web team are playing it coy. We can likely expect a week's worth of intrigue about this mysterious stranger, and hope she finds her way onto the TakeOver Orlando card. There haven't been any announcements regarding the feud between Dillinger, Roderick Strong, and No Way Jose against Young, Cross, Killian Dane, and Alexander Wolf's stable, and the story's been going on long enough. It would be pretty shocking if it wasn't on the April 1st WrestleMania weekend event in some form. I will be on the lookout for any news, and if Ruby Riott will be at NXT TakeOver, and it will be announced on this show. Like I said, I don't watch any NXT right now. I would love to know who I know who Ty Dillinger is. I know who Roderick Strong is from his Ring of Honor days. I know who No Way Jose is. Killian Dane is a huge monster. I know a lot of these people. I just haven't seen them in NXT very much. So when I start watching NXT and get a little bit more involved in it, I will be bringing you more news from that brand, as well as a lot of the wrestlers breaking into it. Now, in the article earlier, I mentioned WWE in talks with Matt and Jeff Hardy. Here's the article pertaining to that news. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy offered new WWE contracts. Pro Wrestling Sheet has learned that new contract offers have officially been extended to Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy by WWE, and all signs point to an inevitable return. We first reported that the two sides were in talks last month. The Sheet can now confirm that an actual deal is on the table for the Hardy Boys to make a comeback in WWE. As we excuse me, folks. As we previously reported, Broken Matt is currently battling with Impact Wrestling over the use of his name and gimmick. The wrestling company believes they should be paid when it's used, but Hardy doesn't agree. The brothers are also the current Ring of Honor Tag Champs after signing a short-term deal with Ring of Honor. Still, no word on whether WWE Creative is looking to use their broken characters, but the legal side of things probably doesn't bode well for a chance of that happening immediately. So, this is just more news about the Hardy Boys coming to WWE. We all know they're going to. We are not quite sure when it will happen. I'm guessing it'll be probably right Damn this fucking cold. I believe it will be following WrestleMania. Maybe it could be, the first Raw after or SmackDown after, or it could be a month or two after WrestleMania. Who knows at the moment? But it is coming soon. I do apologize for the hacking. I do apologize. I was really hoping I was going to be able to control the coughing before the end of this broadcast, but it's not happening. I'll also go into Progress and ICW talent to appear at WrestleMania 33 Access. Now, these names are going to sound familiar, and there is a reason why. Talent from Progress Wrestling and Insane Championship Wrestling can be seen in the ring at WrestleMania Access this year, because they'll be competing alongside wrestlers from NXT, 205 Live, and the WWE UK Championship Tournament. The list of UK wrestlers includes Jimmy Havoc, Mark Haskins, TK Cooper, Travis Banks, Dahlia Black, Tony Storm, and Ginny, WWE United Kingdom Champion Tyler Bate, Progress Champion Pete Dunne, and ICW Champion Trent Seven will be there as well. Bate is slated to defend his WWE UK Championship 3 times during the event, facing Haskins on Friday, Joseph Connors on Saturday, and Dunne on Sunday. WrestleMania Access runs from Thursday, March 31st through Sunday, April 2nd at the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida. So make sure if you're going, check out Access. You might see some very, very good quality wrestling going on. I've seen all these guys compete in the UK tournament as well as some other matches. Great performers. You guys do not want to miss these guys in the ring. So Impact Wrestling and AAA announced partnerships. That is our next article we're covering. Yes, it's more Impact news. Do I care about it? No, not really. Do I think it's going to help them? Probably get some good Lucha Libre in there, but other than that, no. I don't see it helping them very much at all. But I plan on covering many wrestling organizations on this show. I don't care what it is. Impact, WWE, Ring of Honor, who else? I don't care. If you have news and you want me to have it on my show, send it to me via steeldragon1234@hotmail.com. And the article follows. A new alliance in the wrestling world has arrived, because Impact Wrestling and Lucha Libre AAA announced on Wednesday that they've reached a partnership deal. The Anthem press release states that the agreement includes a talent exchange and other opportunities to collaborate with each other in their respective markets. I hope this helps both companies. I don't see it really helping much. It'll help TNA get some coverage out in Mexico, but other than that, I don't really know. Jeff Jarrett sounds thrilled by the new deal and was quoted saying, "This is an exciting time to collaborate," coinciding with AAA's 25th anniversary and Impact Wrestling's 15th anniversary, by building bridges with various partners globally. We can give fans a premier product featuring the best possible talent, which has always been a top priority. Jarrett also promised more partnerships in the coming weeks and months. So he's got his own little company being brought in. He's got AAA coming in now. Hopefully it benefits TNA. It has been pretty crappy from what I've seen and from what I've heard since it all was sold. It was crappy beforehand. It needs new life being breathed into it, that is for sure. So I'm hoping. I don't want to see a wrestling company get buried or disappear. I really don't want to see that these days. I want to see them grow and actually compete with the likes of WWE, so that way the products get better to watch. Without that competition there, we don't have much to look at. We're going to move on to Eric Bischoff requesting a default judgment in legal battle with Impact Wrestling. Yes, Eric Bischoff is also in legal battle with Impact Wrestling. The legal battle between Eric Bischoff's production company and Impact could soon come to an end, because the wrestling company has allegedly refused to participate and may have to pay up. Pro Wrestling Sheet obtained a motion filed in Davidson County Court by Bischoff Hervey Entertainment and Garrett Bischoff, which claims Impact failed to produce required documents as well as appear for a deposition last year. Cold's got my throat drying out and I don't want to start hacking again. For those unaware, Eric Bischoff, Jason Hervey, and Garrett Bischoff filed a breach of contract lawsuit against TNA Entertainment in 2015 for unpaid money totaling $114,500 plus. The document states, due to all the circumstances surrounding this matter and the continual delay of defendant in participating in the case, plaintiffs request that this court enter an order striking the defendant's answer and enter a default judgment in this case, as well as award plaintiff its fees and expenses incurred as a result. BHE also claimed the lawyer for Impact told them he doesn't have the documents needed, so they may withdraw from the case. Impact has until April to respond. The matter will then be heard by a judge. A further update, Impact sources tell us Anthem's deal was an asset purchase of TNA, which means all debt and litigation was left for Dixie Carter to sort out. So she's the one dealing with this legal fight. Well, hats off to them. She does need to pay up. She thought she could escape all her debt by selling the company. It's good to see her ass is still in the fire. I don't like the bitch. She should have never been an owner of wrestling. If you don't know shit about wrestling, you shouldn't be trying to run the company. We're going to move on back to WWE news. And this all has to pertain to WrestleMania in a way. So Raw star returning to SmackDown soon. Big question mark there. News on possible SmackDown women's title match participants for WrestleMania 33. We noted earlier this week how Summer Rae was apparently training for her return at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando. Summer has been out of action since last summer with a knee injury. While Summer has not appeared on WWE TV since the draft, after being sent to Raw roster, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that there's talk of bringing her back to the SmackDown roster, with an appearance at WrestleMania 33 in the SmackDown Women's title match. It'd be good to see Summer Rae back. I don't know why they want to bring her back to SmackDown. Raw needs a lot of help with their women's brand right now because there is nothing to their women's division. They've got a total of 4 women right now that they're using. Why would they go and take one of theirs and throw her on SmackDown? It makes no sense to me. Regarding that match, graphics have confirmed that it will be Alexa Bliss defending against Becky Lynch, Mickie James, Carmella, and Natalya, but it's possible we also see appearances by Naomi, Tamina Snuka, Eva Marie, and Summer, who we just mentioned. There's also been rumors of a stipulation being added to the match. I think that would be good to see, having just a flat-out women's battle royal or another gauntlet-type scenario match. I don't want to see again. The Observer adds that it's also possible we see former WWE superstars return for the SmackDown Women's title match. We've noted how the company contacted several women from the past about appearing at WrestleMania 33 for an angle or match that has been kept secret. Kelly, as we know, has signed a 3-year deal, and Lisa Marie Varone, also known as Victoria, were among those contacted about working for the company in Orlando that Sunday. They might bring him back. I'd say they bring Kelly back, throw her in that match just so she has an appearance, has a cause at WrestleMania. But after that, I believe she should go back to Raw. Same with Victoria. They would really help the women on Raw. They need that diversity there. Right now, 4 women, after they get themselves leveled out, I think then going back and forth with some of the women, so that way there's an even amount on both. That way there's always something new to see. I think that is a great way to go. I like hearing Tamina Snuka is going to be back. She's a tough fucking bitch. And if we went by that alone, she should be a women's champion. But I'm hoping she's trained a little bit more, because her matches always seemed a little bit too sloppy in my eyes. We mentioned Naomi in this article. How about we talk about Naomi and an update on her injury? Will she be back for WrestleMania? That is the biggest question right now. Excuse me. Due to the unfortunate knee injury, Naomi was forced to relinquish the SmackDown Women's Championship last month to SmackDown Live General Manager Daniel Bryan, because it was established that she would be unable to defend her title in the allotted 30-day period, which is total bullshit. How long have we seen the United States title go undefended? How many times did we see the Intercontinental title go undefended? It's a total bullshit rule that gets flung out whenever they please. Alexa Bliss then won the title back after losing it at Elimination Chamber by beating Becky Lynch in an impromptu match. On March 7th, Bryan announced that every available woman on the SmackDown Live roster will have the opportunity to compete for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania 33. His ruling opens up the possibility of Naomi competing at the April 2nd event, taking place in her hometown of Orlando, Florida. And according to her father, she will, so he says on Twitter. On Twitter, a Naomi fan asked the WWE star father, who is a musician in South Florida, if he had any news of when she'll be back. He replied, "She will be back by WrestleMania." He also noted that her injury is legitimate, as she suffered a sprained ACL in her knee. Naomi last provided an injury update to fans on March 7th, where she said that she could still appear at WrestleMania 33. I know there's a lot of hope of her returning, and I'm going to pause right here and get back to it. You making me a coffee too, sweetheart? Oh, you are wonderful. I got such a great wife. The fans, especially younger females, there are a lot of guys. I think she is a great wrestler. I want to see her back. I don't want to see her push herself to the point where she's going to re-injure herself. I know that's what a lot of people are thinking about Seth Rollins right now, and I don't want to see Naomi do it either. It took her a long time to get to the point where she was actually given the ball. And it's not like she dropped the ball. An injury does not mean you fucked up and they went and took the title off you. She legitimately hurt herself, and she had to relinquish the title that she finally earned, and she's got to work herself back up to that position. I hope she can. I hope the company trusts her enough to let her build herself back up to that point. Right now, she is an undefeated champion. It's very similar to Finn Balor. So when she returns, you would think even after WrestleMania, she would be first in line for a rematch for her title. We will see what happens. Will she be at WrestleMania? I hope so. She is a very flamboyant, entertaining young woman. Moving on. Vince McMahon in a car accident near WWE headquarters yesterday. TMZ reports that WWE Chairman Vince McMahon was involved in a car accident yesterday that left his black Bentley banged up. The accident reportedly happened about a mile away from WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. Law enforcement sources confirmed that Vince was driving the car when something went wrong. Another car was involved in the accident, but further details have not been confirmed. One witness described it as a minor accident and noted that everyone was okay. Vince was seen walking around after the accident and appeared to be just fine. It is not going to be anything natural or unnatural that kills this motherfucker. This guy will not get sick and die. This guy could be in a car accident, jet accident, airplane accident, boat accident. He's going to fucking walk away from it. It'll be Kevin Dunn's fucking teeth that end his fucking life. Guaranteed. That's just my opinion. Sorry. I've been in an accident. I shouldn't joke about it. But like the article said, it was a minor incident. Nothing really noteworthy about it, but it is news. Now, while I was going through all these articles trying to figure out what kind of content I wanted for my show. Oh God, my throat. Excuse me a second. I like interviews with the wrestlers, and not every wrestler. I like certain wrestlers. The freakier, the better. So when I came across an interview with Bray Wyatt, I had to sit down and read it, and I thought it was good enough to bring to Pillar to Post. Because it just does not have to deal with Bray Wyatt. It's also the possibility of him working with his brother, who everyone knows is Bo Dallas. And it also involves him being a complex champion, and if he ever wants to work, or will the Wyatt family ever work together again. So when I read this, I thought, yes, this would be good content for Pillar to Post. I love Bray Wyatt. He's got that right type of charisma and wrestling ability and uniqueness about him that really makes him grab your attention. And he does me anyway. I don't know if anyone else is a fan, but huge fan of Bray Wyatt. Now, the article goes on like this. WWE Champion Bray Wyatt recently spoke with Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated's Extra Mustard site to promote WrestleMania 33, where he will defend against Randy Orton. The full interview is, they give a link for the interview, but I'm just going to grab the highlights. So, Wyatt being a far more complex WWE champion than we're used to. I wouldn't say than what we're used to. Look at when Mankind was champion. You know, that guy was messed up in the head. Mick Foley has good talent. That generic outlook of what a WWE championship should be is a joke to him. These are his words. I'm replacing me with him. The casual fan walks in and expects to see a guy in short trunks with abs and a shaven body. He does not believe in that. When you watch UFC, there is not a cliche champion who looks the same every time. I fucking agree. They don't all need to look like John Cena, Batista, Brock Lesnar. You know, they don't all need to be huge, muscular men. That's why I liked it when Vince McMahon started giving smaller guys the opportunity to headline the shows, like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk. These guys were far different. But Vince McMahon had this thing against larger people. If you had a gut on you, you weren't really championship material. Just look at the history. There isn't many fat men that were heavyweight champion. He goes on to say, I am a well-spoken, educated person, and I'm also an extremely accomplished athlete. For him, it's disrespect and a slap in the face when people say he broke the mold as a champion or I don't fit as champion. I know what I'm capable of, and I knew I'd be here. You know, I think the same way as him. If you work hard enough, you show that you can grab that ball and you can run with it and take the company in a total new direction that even the company didn't think you could do. You should be given the chance. You should not be held back because of the shape of your body or the length of a beard or whatever the case may be. Should not be looked at like that anymore. That bullshit is over. If you've seen Bray Wyatt in a match, you know what he's capable of doing. You know he can bring the excitement and the athleticism that many smaller guys can. Look at Kevin Owens. He's just in the same kind of physique as Bray Wyatt. These guys can go. Samoa Joe's another one. You know, these guys can go. Fuck, man, I can't even fucking keep my words together. The next question is on working with his younger brother, Bo Dallas. And Bray goes on to say, Bo Dallas is quite possibly the most talented wrestler on either roster. He is the most underrated superstar of all time. In my opinion, he has so much to give. At some point, I would love to form an alliance with him because I know who and what he really is. Whether people want to look at him like that, well, then I'll show you. It's very, very possible, he says. And he goes on to talk about the status of the Wyatt family after Randy Orton's turn. But before we go that, I want to say something about this. Bo Dallas, I agree, is a very underrated wrestler. He's been downplayed since he was brought in. The whole Bo leave bullshit, it was complete crap. He's got the talent, he's got the heart, he's got the charisma for it. You know what? Let this guy go to SmackDown and let's see what they turn him into. Maybe him and his brother work together. It would be something to see. I would love to see the brothers work together. Honestly, I think they'd be fucking phenomenal. No pun intended. On the status of the Wyatt family after Randy Orton's turn, Bray goes on to say there is a lot of damage and many burnt bridges right now. The Wyatt family will always exist in one form or fashion. Whether or not the four of us are ever back together again, it's one thing to look at us on television, but when you're standing next to all of us together, it's almost too dominant of a presence. You can't hack away at us. We're four giants. As much as I would like to be reunited with my brothers, I don't really need them right now, but it's always a possibility. Right now, he might not need them, but in my eyes, he kind of loses the whole... It was like a cult to me. You know, the whole cult mystique. He was the leader. They followed unflinchingly, unquestioningly, and they dominated. If they would have been handled correctly right from the start, these guys would have been having every title in WWE. At least on one brand. The brand draft happened. Braun Strowman went over to Raw. The rest of them remained on SmackDown. But Eric Rowan went out for injury, and Luke Harper went off on injury. And they included Randy Orton into it, and it all imploded. So no one truly knows where Eric Rowan stands when he comes back. Will things change between Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt? I don't see that happening, not at the moment. But it could happen in the future. So that is all the news I have for you today. I am very happy you followed the show. And please, if you followed the show to the end, hit subscribe. Hit that like button. And I will see you possibly tomorrow or Saturday. So you guys all have a good night. I'm going to enjoy my coffee and go sit with the wife. And I hope yours ends up being a good evening as well. See you very soon.